DRG for a photon overcharge as of yet, so if DRG hits right now, then this could be a problem for HerO, and I think that DRG realizes that. That's the +1 armor cancelled there. The Phoenix has come into the fray. The Void Ray is activated. A nice choke point here for HerO, but this Colossus is on borrowed time. There are not quite enough Void Rays to kill the Corruptors off before the Colossus falls. You will need to bring in more. The Hydras are kept behind here, and this micro is going to have to be absolutely amazing from HerO, and I'm afraid he doesn't have the opportunity. There's the GG, and wow. DRG flattens Liquid HerO in a swift 2-0 victory that looked lopsided, if I'm going to be honest.
It did. That was by far our most one-sided series so far in this SHOUTcraft Invitational, so a little bit disappointing in that regard. Does this mean that DRG is playing super well or that HerO's falling a bit short? I think it's a slight combination of both, but we have to remember that HerO has like a very different style. He likes to play the game to his own drum's beat, I guess, and sometimes it'll look like that when you do that, and sometimes it'll look genius.
Yeah, it definitely can, and it just wasn't working out against DRG. DRG is a very no-nonsense kind of guy, and I have a feeling that he doesn't have that much patience for the shenanigans that HerO likes to bring out. And he just played rock solid, Zerg, no doubt about it. He took every opportunity he was given. He didn't miss one. He caught every unit out he could. He got the little advantages where it counted. He didn't lose his third to cannons, you know, which is a big deal. He committed just enough units to make it work. And then he smashes down the front door.
He really knows his stuff, man. You can see that DRG is really improving by, you know, playing in Pro League, keeping these crazy practice hours, not traveling quite as much as he was, and it shows. He's just so solid right now.
Yeah, it's that good. And, well, that is HerO with a pretty bad start, and he needed a win. He really did, because honestly, what he's going to have to face in the lower bracket is even scarier than that. You know, he will have to go up against the loser of Zest and Byung, and then, assuming he beats that, he's got to go up against the final loser there and just win 2 more matches against incredible players. That's difficult. That's a tall order.
It's a tall order indeed. You know, seeing a HerO versus HerO match and listening to us fumble over that is getting further away, unfortunately. But he still has his chances, okay? He's definitely... There's 3 different matchups here. It seems like he's not going to beat DRG today. Maybe DRG gets out in first place, and he just cleans up some Terran and Protoss scum. Who knows?
Maybe he does. It is certainly possible. A PvP against Zest could kind of go either way. Obviously, Zest is amazing, but PvP is still PvP. Yeah. And Byung's current ZVP is... TVP is completely out of this world. It's entirely possible Zest loses that match, which will be coming up next. But alternatively, maybe Byung loses it, and then HerO has to prove just how good he really is against Terran. It is going to be a very tough road now for HerO. This was probably the easiest match he was going to have in this group, and he lost it decisively. And that definitely concerns me. He may be the one that goes out first. I certainly hope not, and hopefully we'll see a little bit more fight out of HerO in the next match when he's able to pull himself together. But if DRG keeps playing like that, we are going to see a really good set of matches going forward in Group B.
Indeed, we will, and I think that we will. DRG is in really good shape lately. He has been impressing me in all of his GSL matches. Maybe he's not getting as deep as he used to, but he's still playing top-end Zerg. So, you know, maybe this is a chance for him to kind of redeem himself for not getting, you know, a bunch of round of 8s like he normally does.
Yeah, maybe it is. And that would be awesome. You know, he doesn't have that much else to focus on at the moment outside of Pro League. And he is showing some top-quality play here. Now, what's coming up after the break? And it might be a little bit of a break, because we're still waiting for Zest, since that series did end a little bit earlier than anticipated. So we will be waiting for Zest. Byung is already here, so we'll be able to kind of start off there. Regardless, we will be going into Byung versus Zest, which could be the best damn PvT you have ever seen in your life. So I certainly hope you're all looking forward to that.
Definitely could be, man. Byung, just an amazing Terran vs. Protoss player. And last night we saw when Zest beat Innovation that his PvT is nothing to be scoffed at.
No. It isn't. Not at all. But Byung, we've seen the hit list, man. Zest is on that hit list. Alongside every other great Protoss player on the planet. Like, all of them. They have all lost to Byung in the last few months. So this is going to be a really, really cool PvT. I'm very much looking forward to it. We're going to take a break to prepare. And, of course, when we come back, we'll be bringing you the one and only KT Rolster Zest versus CJ enters Byung. And one of them will go on to face Dongray Gu. And, man, either of them will be great, honestly, in that matchup. Either of them would be awesome. Kind of rooting a little bit for Byung, because, frankly, we do love the Terran here on this stream. But we will see. I'm okay with either result, of course. Now, a quick word from our sponsors, guys. If you don't mind, this tournament is brought to you by Sandisk Extreme Pro SSD. If you're looking for an SSD and you want one with a 10-year warranty, there's really only one of those on the market, and it is the Sandisk Extreme Pro SSD. I've got a quick ad to show you, which will show you the benefits along with my sultry tones. We'll have a commercial break, and after that, we'll be bringing you Zest versus Byung. This is the Sandisk SHOUTcraft Invitational. My name is Totalbiscuit.
I'm Artosis.
And we'll see you shortly. Hi, my name's John Bain, and it's my pleasure to thank Sandisk for bringing us top-notch StarCraft 2 entertainment at the Sandisk SHOUTcraft Invitational. When I'm not casting StarCraft 2, it's my job to critique PC games, and to do that, I need the best hardware. One of the best upgrades that you can get for your PC gaming experience is a solid-state drive, so I'd like to encourage you to check out the Sandisk Extreme Pro SSD. It's engineered for super-fast read and write speeds and consistent high performance 24/7. What does that mean for your games? Faster load times, faster boot times, faster install times. Less downtime, more game time. Plus, they're easy to install, run cool, and are both virtually silent and energy efficient. If you're worried about reliability, no need. Sandisk backs it all up with a 10-year warranty. Game without limits when you step up to the consistent high performance of Sandisk Extreme Pro.
But you never Commander Shepard. Never be better than Commander Shepard. Never be better than Commander Shepard. Yeah. Never be better than Commander Shepard. Never be better than Commander Shepard. Assuming control.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Sandisk SHOUTcraft Invitational, and if we do have anyone from South Korea tuned in, as we had over 15,000 of you tune in yesterday to this stream, one, 안녕하세요, which is probably terrible, and secondly, we've got the Axiom South Korean stream running right now over at twitch.tv/crank, so if you are looking for a South Korean cast, the Axiom players are all casting over at twitch.tv/crank.
Yeah, I'm sure that is absolutely amazing. Kind of a Korean home story cup for you this weekend.
Kind of is, you know.
If you speak Korean, I'm sure you're going to want to check that out.
Certainly. I don't think there's as much drinking, I'm going to be honest. There's definitely not as much swearing. I would not accept that in my house.
I hope not. It's not even 9 a.m. over here. I hope there's not as much drinking going on. But you know, I'm sure that's a lot of fun. If you speak Korean at all, go and check them out. You can watch me in Totalbiscuit cast all the time, but watching Cranking the Boys cast, that's something I think you probably don't see nearly as often.
No, you certainly do not. I don't think we'd really do a home story cup in the Axiom team house. We'd get maybe 3 players in there, then it'd be like, well, we're out of capacity, we can't do anything.
Yeah, apartments in Korea are pretty small, whereas
yeah,
I don't know how
there.
Cake has such a big place. It's actually gigantic.
Yeah, so he has the benefit of living in Europe, so I suppose that certainly helps. But you can't be doing that in Seoul. They really pack him in over there. There's no real doubt about that.
Yeah, it's, I know all about those things. I've lived in a shoebox for many, many years.
Indeed. All right, the next match coming up right here. KT Rolster Zest. 2-time GSL champion, and I believe the only person to pull that off in 1 month, because of course his other title is the GSL Global Tournament. Versus CJ
really
Byung.
Impressive. Oh man, this match is crazy. It could absolutely be the finals. You know, the list of things that these guys have done recently that are impressive is like too long to go on about. Byung, as we were talking about before, with like the best Pro League record percentage-wise, Zest being a Royal Roader and a double champion, and I mean, they're just both so crazy good, man. Like these are the guys to watch right now. These are the new rising guns for these 2 races.
Yeah, best of the best. Zest certainly best of the best. He's proved it time and again. He continues to prove it. He is not one of those players that just goes down after 1 GSL. He continues to just blaze a trail. Slash and burn there for Zest. You know, there's villagers burning in his wake, children crying, there's the occasional dog just wandering around looking really confused. Has any idea what's going on. You can't really explain to that dog, that guy's Zest, you want to stay away from him.
No, the dog, if he can't sense it, he's screwed already. And Byung, you know, last season we only had 3 Terrans in Code S, and this season just 4. Byung was in both of those. So this guy is solid, he's the real deal, and he never gets the love that he deserves. It eats me up inside that he doesn't have a million fans right now.
And he should. His Terran is that good. In an era where Terrans struggle against Protoss, nobody bothered to tell Byung that.
Yeah. That's a very good way of putting it. Like, Byung doesn't see any imbalance. He's doing the best out of everyone in the world in the hardest team league in the world. So, I mean, he'll show you how to play Terran and win right now.
Oh yeah, that he is. And he's going to show us, to start with, here on Waystation. Not a map we've really had the opportunity to see a huge amount of, actually. I believe it was actually voted every time yesterday. Give or take.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember a single match on this map.
Pro gamers hate this map, so I mean, whatever.
All right then. Well, let's see how these pro gamers will do. And I like to appreciate the fact that they have elected to break out of their shackles and pick different colors. This is not something they really get to do in Pro League, so they're just enjoying the newfound freedom, at least for a while here. Because, of course, in the stylish light blue neon trunks to the northwest position here of Waystation, the double and reigning GSL champion, Royal Roda, playing Protoss. He's KT rolls to Zest.
And in the bottom right of our map, the Terran Phenom in the bright orange surfer shorts. It is CJ Entis Byung. I love that orange, by the way. That just looks great.
That might be the best color in StarCraft, as far as I'm concerned.
Seriously, those SCVs are just vibrant. Yeah. I'm loving it.
Works for all races in particular. I love to see Zerg with that orange. Those glowing orange banelings in Game Heart. Oh, why would you not want that?
Well, you know, let's jump back and talk about the map for a minute here, because I don't know about you, but like, as a commentator and a fan of StarCraft, I love watching games on Waystation. I get excited every time we get to see Waystation, whereas we don't get to see it that much because pro gamers don't really care for it.
No. We have seen pro gamers in particular are very resistant to new types of maps. I remember back with the Red Bull Battlegrounds New York, which introduced Habitation Station to the world, and we saw Blizzard say, hey, that looks pretty good, let's include it in the WCS pool. I spoke to several Protoss players, Protoss pro gamers, and they said this: we will never win ever again on this map against Zerg. It is never going to happen.
Well, truth be told, pro gamers are a little bit over the top when they talk about balance.
Just a little.
Yeah, and then they get angry if they get called out on that. But it is the case. They are a bit over the top. You can really figure out how to play on all sorts of different maps. StarCraft is by no means completely figured out yet.
No, it certainly is not. And map variety is great for the viewer, in my opinion. And it also allows for some players that perhaps were just not doing that well in the current meta to maybe excel with a little bit of creativity. And it's great not to have to see the same faces over and over and over again, playing the same builds over and over again.
Very true about that. I love seeing these new guys rise up and these new maps for them to fight on. Like, look at how ridiculously big this map is in these spots. It's so silly how big this is. It's so silly that Byung has gone for a command center first. No way for Zest to punish that. Of course, he's going for a very fast Nexus. And, I mean, this will probably turn into a giant macro game, but we don't really know.
No, we don't. And the crazy thing about Waystation, of course, is that if you end up in the different spawn positions, it's an entirely different game. And more so than any other map.
Oh, definitely. It's really two maps in one where you don't know which one you're getting as you start it up.
Yeah.
which is actually why pro gamers hate it, I think. Not the fact that it's so long in one spot and so close in another, just the fact that it's really hard to prepare to play here.
Yeah, there was a really awful map in the last, I think it was last season or maybe the season before's pool that I ended up vetoing almost immediately, because at one particular angle, it had the most far away exposed natural expansion in the history of anything. I'm trying to remember what it was. What was it called? Man, I must have scrubbed it from my memory. That's a bit of post-traumatic stress syndrome going on there.
It's better that way. It'll come back to you in a couple years. Just like I just recently remembered the map Jungle Basin.
Oh no, I'm so sorry.
It was so scarring back then. Yeah, I know, right? But it was like erased from my memory for the longest time.
Slag pits, man. Slag pits.
Oh god, slag pits. No! It's too soon. Why did you remind me of slag pits?
Suffering is best when shared, Artosis.
Oh my, well, there's going to be some more suffering than you and I here. It looks like we're going to have a 4-gate blink coming out of Zest, and
Scan.
that scan...
Perfect.
Oh, it sees 4 gates.
It does. All of them.
It doesn't see the blink, but, I mean, you see 4 gates here. I think you can probably guess with 2 gases and 4 gates that this is going to be blink.
Yeah, and you can even look at little things like whether or not there is Chrono Boost into that Cyber Core, for instance, for Warp Gate, which there isn't. And there's no Chrono Boost on the Nexus either, so you got to think, all right, well, where's that Chrono Boost going? So he must be thinking about that, and, you know, it's such a good build. Why would you not assume that it was a possibility? What do you think about this map for 4-gate blink, though?
I think Zest is saying this map is too big. I don't really want to play a super long game here. It's going to be hard to cover everything, so... Hey, I mean, that's a really strong build. I don't know if this is the best map for it. I haven't seen it here in these spots yet. And when you look at it, it's like the ramp is so close to that edge. It's going to be really easy for Byung to get up and down. He's really going to need an excellent time warp, but his mothership core isn't even finished yet.
No, it's not. And it's going to take a while to get across this map in cross positions as well. And Zest just goes in, picks off a unit, gets out of there. As it stands, looking at this right now, this looks unbreakable. At least without... You're going to have to bring sentries in, no doubt about that. You're going to need force fields to stop these bunkers from staying alive. And you're going to need that mothership core. And Zest is not even rolling out with it. Like, there's a Forge and a Robo gun behind this. This is Zest either saying, I'm faking this, or I have decided this is not going to happen. Byung is clearly ready for this. Better start working on something else.
It's definitely the latter there. You know, you get scanned like this, you see him putting up the bunkers. It's like, well, am I going to kill Byung with this really? No, I guess it's time to transition. And that's going to give Byung a little lead. And by the way, if you look at what Byung chose to do the second he scanned that, he added 2 more Raxes instead of going up to a factory. So, who needs Medivacs? He's just going to have so many ground units, it's going to be crazy.
You know, I love that idea, because it often allows a Terran player to hit before those key AoE techs are available for the Protoss. So it will be a mostly gateway force with maybe a little bit of Robo added in there, versus just this giant wall of guns. And Byung in particular has gone pretty Marauder heavy with a 2-to-1 ratio. Slightly less now that Zest's picked one of the Marines off, but concussive shells, bunch of Marauders, stim, +1, combat shields will be done by the time this hits. That is a sledgehammer.
Yeah, that's a really scary force right there. But the thing is, Zest already has an Immortal. He's going to easily have 2 out. He's got 5 sentries, more Blink Stalkers on the way. He is going to be able to pick this apart with good micro. So, Byung may be overcommitting a little bit here.
Sentries coming in, and there are the... this one Immortal around the back here. Byung has opened fire, but the Marauders are not really getting the connections that they need, and Zest just executes a really nice engagement. Hell, the Marauders were actually firing on the sentries, which, you know, usually you don't want anything firing at your sentries, but much better the Marauders were firing at them than the Stalkers, which would have melted so fast.
Indeed. You know, he killed off 3 sentries, sure, but overall, I say that definitely went better for Zest, and as you can see, Zest chasing him home.
He's
and without
setting up.
Medivacs yet, god, these light units are going to die quite quickly.
Yep, he comes in with the flank from the side, brings a lot of Blink Stalkers in. Byung continues to fight, and it takes a toll, certainly. And perhaps he needed to do that. Oh man, he salvaged all his bunkers, and now he's regretting that. The SCVs are coming off the line here.
Well, he's stimming, running forward here, going after these Immortals, but this is way too much damage here from Zest. That's a beautiful time warp, some great blinks, and these SCVs are being massacred.
Yeah, but there is a decent amount of units behind this, and the SCVs have buffered a lot of it, and it's not like Zest's economy was incredible to begin with. He is certainly now ahead, and he's gonna take a few more SCVs here by the looks of it, but Byung is trying to hang on. Zest with the aggressive blink in forward. No Medivacs as of yet. Byung with the force at the top of the ramp is firing as best he can. He needs to take down the Zealot wall. He knows that, and then he can get at those oh-so-fragile Stalkers. Even with good Blink Micro, that is still a decent number of Marauders. There's a couple of Medivacs that are about to finish, and Zest trying to focus that down, but stims down the ramp, does Byung. Focuses down, a couple of sentries coming in from the side here. There's the quick lift. Byung just moving backwards. There's still too many Blink Stalkers in the natural.
Yeah, the micro potential here for Zest is simply too high. Byung has a lot of units popping out, but can't do anything as more and more sentries come down. He's taking way too much damage in this natural, and realistically, he's going to have to say GG.
And this wasn't even the most super committed thing I've ever seen from a Protoss player. This started from a 4-gate blink into potential transition. Byung gets really impetuous. Of course, there's the GG, but as we saw, Byung getting somewhat impetuous and going across the map, saying, you know what, I think I've got a really big army, but Zest sees it, picks at it, and then gets the perfect fight.
Yeah, he really did get the perfect fight with those 5 sentries. It was a good job. You know, Zest transitioned out just in time. Byung didn't think he would transition that quickly. Like, if this was more Stalkers, less sentries, and Immortals, he could have done a lot more there. But fantastic force fields and all that, and a quick loss for Byung, unfortunately. It's too bad, too, because I quite liked his build. I quite liked his ideas.
Yeah, it seemed like a good idea. He had so much to work with. And if he'd managed to get across the map without being picked out, without being slowed down, maybe if he'd managed to get across before a second Immortal had finished, for instance, or maybe if he was just able to knock at the door and get a better angle. But Zest got the fight that he wanted out of that.
Well, you know, it's too bad. If Byung would have had, like, map hacks or something, seen what was up there that many sentries, no way he would have actually continued to move forward. He would have waited for those medevacs, and once he got, like, 4 medevacs out, he was going to have an army that absolutely wasn't going to be stopped like that. That would have been a deadly army indeed against the now Sentry Immortal Blink Stalker army that Zest had.
Indeed, the lack of information costs him there, and the plan does fall to pieces, but he still has a map to play with at least. He can attempt to bring it back to 1-1 here on King Sejong Station, which will be the next map in this best-of-3 series. Will we see Zest crush through? Or will Byung be able to bring this back? He certainly has the potential to do it. He's done it time and again. He's beat Zest before, and he certainly can do it again.
Yeah, it's definitely doable, and we've seen some great maps here. In fact, this is the map, if I recall correctly, that he actually beat Zest on recently. I think so, yeah. This is the map where he went for the, like, 6 or 8 Hellions plus Marine drop against Zest and actually just got into his main base and fried his probes. So, I mean, Byung is no stranger to beating Zest here.
Yep, I think you may very well be right on that one. And I would love to see him be able to pull it back. He is of the caliber he needs to beat this GSL champion. But Zest in group stages, I mean, you saw it last night. It was ridiculous, and he could very easily pull that off again.
Yeah, Zest is probably the best player in the world right now, to be perfectly frank. I've been just studying him, rewatching all of his VODs. He's so enlightened about how to use Protoss and how to react to absolutely everything in the game. It's uncanny. He's like the new Rain. He's the new leveled up Rain.
Except he leaves his base before the 10-minute mark.
That's true. No, I mean, he's leveled up in every way.
Yeah, indeed.
It's the weirdest thing to have a player that's better than Rain, but it's happened.
Yep. He's learned what aggression truly means. King Sejong Station will be the venue for our next encounter. And before we go in, I would like to ask, as we noticed sort of as the battle was joined, that those bunkers were certainly no longer there. What do you think about salvaging the bunkers at that point? Was that actually an error from Byung, or was it a reasonable thing to do, bearing in mind the information that he had to hand?
I tell you, with what he had in hand and how many stalkers he should have thought his opponent had, I think it was fine to salvage them, to be perfectly honest. He had such macro going. He definitely had a bigger army. But, you know, he got caught with those force fields. When you lose that many units, yeah, you'd like the bunkers then, but not before then.
That's very true. All right, folks, here we go. The next map in this best-of-3 series is King Sejong Station. Zest taking on Byung, who will go on to face Dongray-gu, and who will fall down to take on Liquid HerO. We may find out on this very map. It could happen. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to King Sejong Station, and it's my pleasure to introduce to you to the southeast position in the orange trunks. Playing Terran, I made up a name for him. I called him the Professional, for he is indeed a hitman. It's CJ Enters Byung.
Wow, I like that nickname. That was like my favorite movie as a kid.
Absolutely. So very good. They didn't actually call it the Professional in the UK. They used the alternative name over there.
Really?
They called it Leon.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, that's what they called it in Korea as well.
Yeah.
It was actually just released in Korea recently.
What, really? What?
It was in theaters for some reason recently. Like, there was posters for it all over the city. But anyways.